Hello, friends. I'm Ben Pierce, Senior Pastor at Fuquay-Varina Baptist Church, and thank you so much for joining us. It's a blessing to me, and I hope these have been a blessing to you as we've gone through describing the characteristics of a disciple. Now, if you'll think back, we did a little small version, maybe a 3.5-minute version a while back, and we had so many people say, man, I enjoyed this. I wish you could go a little more in depth, and that's why we're doing this. And lo and behold, we've come to the end. Today, we spell out the last word, which is E for evangelism. Now, let me quickly just review for you. The D is dying to self. You're not going to be a disciple unless you take up your cross and you die to self. The I is for integrity. What that means is your life matches what you say you believe. The S is you're going to serve. One of the biggest oxymorons is a non-serving Christian. You should be serving someone. The C is for compassion. We should have the same compassion for people that Christ has for the hurting. The I, we invest in others and we also invest in the kingdom. The P stands for you're going to be a person of prayer if you're really going to be a disciple. Apart from a prayer life, there is no disciple. The L stands for you listen and obey. Now, it would have been easy to make the L love, but I truly believe God put so much emphasis on hearing His voice and obeying His voice is truly one of the key signs, are you a disciple? And so today is E for evangelism. Now I know you hear that word and you almost break out in a cold sweat, but the truth of it is, if you're a disciple, you're going to make disciples. And so today, I want us to look at, really, it's Acts 1 through 11, but we're really going to focus on Acts 1:8. Now, Acts 1:8 is one of my favorite verses, but you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you. And listen, you shall be, not might be, you shall be my witnesses, both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria, the wrong side of the tracks, and even to the remotest parts of the earth. Couple points let's just look at real quick. The first one is you got to have the correct proclamation. Notice Jesus says, you will be my witnesses. That's what we're called to do. It's just witness about Christ. The sole focus of our message is you come to Christ as you are, and He offers salvation. Evangelism is not about your favorite pastor or your church or your denomination. No, and it's definitely not about you or me. It's about telling others about what Christ has done. You see, I tell people all the time, we take ourselves way too serious and we don't take the gospel serious enough. Monitor this next week. What is it that you spend a lot of time talking about? Because that reveals truly what you love, what your mind is set on. And I love the fact that all evangelism is telling others about His love, His death, His resurrection. It's the message that no matter who you are and no matter what you've done, there's forgiveness through the cross. You're not trying to win theological debates or trying to impress others. No, you come as a humble witness and you point people to Jesus. Think about what John the Baptist did in his life. I mean, all John the Baptist said is, I must decrease, he must increase. He was there to point others to Christ. Or maybe like this. Think about when you're driving down the road and you see a yellow sign that's shaped like a diamond. What is that? And maybe it has a arrow with like that, meaning, oh, there's a bad curve coming ahead. You see, that sign is not there for the sign's sake. It's there to tell you about what's ahead, or it's there to tell you about something else. That's what we're here for. It's to tell others about what Christ has done. Romans 1:16 says this, the gospel is the power of God to salvation. We just got to let it out and let it do the powerful thing that it can accomplish in changing lives. So we've got the correct proclamation, but I want you to see, secondly, you got to have the correct practice. The word witness there, you shall be my witness. We get our word martyr from that Greek word. It means that we witness to the truth no matter what the cost. But think about this. I love court TV shows. I used to love the old Perry Masons, the Matlocks, and all the Law and Orders. You know, I love those courtroom dramas. What does a witness do in court? Well, what he does is he tells what he has seen and what they know to be true. That's what Peter does at Pentecost when 3,000 come to know Christ. It's what Philip does with the Ethiopian eunuch on a chariot. It's what Paul does before King Agrippa. It's what Peter tells us to do, to be willing to share the hope that we have with gentleness and with respect. But you got to have the correct perspective as well. Do you realize this? Each person we meet is in one or two kingdoms. They're either lost or they're saved. There's a kingdom of darkness and there's a kingdom of light. Jesus says, you'll be my witnesses in Judea, in Jerusalem, Judea, and then Samaria. That's the wrong side of the tracks, and then to the uttermost parts of the earth. In other words, wherever you go and whomever you meet, we are to make the most of every opportunity. See if I can give you a little example of this. I love cars. My son loves them a whole lot more than I do. And oftentimes he'll say, Dad, have you seen the new Corvette, the C8s, or have you seen the new Mustangs or the new Teslas? And I'll say, no, I haven't. But you know what will happen? I'll begin to look for them. And then I start seeing them everywhere. You know, that's the way we are to be, is we are to have the kind of eyes that are looking for opportunities to share. Because if you're looking for those opportunities,